Major stand-up comedian, funny man all around. Yes, it's Kevin Hart. But who is Kevin Hart behind the camera, and what is his life story? Early life. Kevin Darnell Hart was born on the 6th of July in 1979 in Philadelphia in the United States. His parents were Nancy Hart and Henry Robert Witherspoon. Kevin grew up with one older brother named Robert. His mother was a systems analyst at the University of Pennsylvania. She raised Kevin and his brother all by herself, as their father was an addict and spent his time in and out of the penitentiary all throughout Kevin's childhood. This early difficulty has often been credited with Kevin using humor as a way to cope with the situation. His father did eventually begin recovery, and Kevin ended up having a better relationship with him in later years. When he was a teenager, Kevin Hart wanted to be a basketball player. This is, funnily enough, not a joke, despite the comedian's diminutive 5'5" height. He actually went to the same basketball camp as the legendary Kobe Bryant, but basketball didn't work out, and there were still plenty of other options on the cards for Hart. He graduated from George Washington High School in Somerton in the northeast of Philadelphia. Although he did go on to attend the Community College of Philadelphia, that was short-lived, and Hart soon dropped out and moved to New York City. He worked selling shoes for a while before anything else began to take off for him. Kevin Hart decided that he wanted to pursue a career in comedy, and he began, like all comedians, with some stand-up shows in the local comedy clubs. His very first performance was in the Laugh House in Philadelphia, where he performed under the stage name of Lil Kev. Again, a reference to his stature. But this went really rather badly. At various times in his early career, Hart was often booed off stage, and he's even recalled a time when he had chicken thrown at him while he was performing. But somehow this didn't deter Hart from pursuing the dream, and he began to participate in comedy competitions. Initially, he had been kind of imitating other comedians, most notably Chris Tucker, but after a while he found his own groove and began to develop his own unique style and stories from his own life experiences. Don't forget to subscribe. Career breakthrough. Kevin Hart was appearing in film and television roles all over the place for years before his comedy career was hitting the big time. In 2002, he made a TV appearance on Judd Apatow's sitcom Undeclared. He followed this up with his first movie role that very same year in Paper Soldiers. After this, Hart appeared in lots of comedy films, from the Scary Movie films to The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Little Fockers. Hart was a familiar face on the comedy circuit and on television by the time he headed out on tour in 2009 with his I'm a Grown Little Man stand-up show. This was followed up in 2010 with Seriously Funny, then Laugh at My Pain in 2011, and Let Me Explain in 2013. This was the moment that Kevin Hart was known everywhere and was making huge amounts of money from his comedy. His Laugh at My Pain tour brought in $15 million, a number unheard of in stand-up comedy elsewhere that year. Hollywood. So by this point, it seems as if Kevin Hart was already a megastar. He was everywhere. His stand-up shows from 2011 and 2013 were also released in movie theaters, and he was seen across loads of films, either in starring roles or, of course, in cameo appearances as himself. In 2012, he was in the Judd Apatow film The 5-Year Engagement, along with Jason Segel. The two are still good friends. He then had a role with the ensemble cast in Think Like a Man, and then again in the sequel a couple of years later. Hart was popping up all over the place and was a most recognizable face in Hollywood, as well as across the comedy circuits. He had several more movie roles across 2013, including Grudge Match and Exit Strategy. This same year, along with Chris Spencer, Hart created Real Husbands of Hollywood. This was essentially a kind of spoof of reality shows in which Hart and other married celebrities played a comedy fiction version of themselves and filmed their fictionalized lives in the style of the Real Housewives shows that were popular on Bravo. In real life, Kevin Hart is actually famously associated with many other celebrities, including Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Then in 2014, Kevin Hart starred alongside Ice Cube in Ride Along. On the whole, the movie was slated by the critics, but it raked in the money at the box office, so there was also a sequel in 2016, Ride Along 2. In 2015, Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell starred in the crime comedy film Get Hard. He then starred in The Wedding Ringer later that year, and then in 2016, Hart starred with Dwayne Johnson in Central Intelligence, and he then voiced the character of Snowball in the animated movie The Secret Life of Pets. By 2017, Kevin Hart was making a lot of money, an estimated $32.5 million in that year alone, for movies including Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, along with The Rock and Jack Black, and more voice work in Captain Underpants: The First Epic Movie. By 2018, he was extending his reach by establishing his own production company, Heartbeat Productions, and he produced his first film, Night School, that same year. He also set up deals with Nickelodeon and Universal Studios. Then in 2019, Hart's acting took a new direction as he starred in a drama, The Upside, along with Bryan Cranston and Nicole Kidman. There was a sequel to The Secret Life of Pets and another Jumanji movie. By 2021, he was once again starring in another drama, Fatherhood. Then in 2022, he starred with Mark Wahlberg in the comedy movie Me Time. 2024 saw Hart starring in the Netflix movie Lift. Kevin Hart has his own comedy brand that functions across multiple platforms. It's called Laugh Out Loud and is described as a digital comedy network and production company. Through this, Hart has made a couple of seasons of a show on the Roku television streaming platform. Hart has spent more time recently expanding his enormous comedy empire and has closed deals with many partner companies, including Pluto TV, Peacock, Facebook, YouTube, and several more. Through this company, he has won many awards, and his content has more than 1 billion views. Naturally, Kevin Hart is a regular choice for hosting Saturday Night Live. He has done so 3 times so far. Personal life. Back in 2003, Kevin Hart married Tori Skipper. They had 2 children together, a daughter called Heaven Lee Hart, who was born in 2005, and a son called Hendrix Hart, who was born in 2007. The couple filed for divorce in 2010. It was finalized in 2011. Then in 2014, Hart and Aniko Parrish got engaged. The couple married in California in August of 2016, and Hart's son Hendrix, who was 8 years old at the time, was his best man at the ceremony. Kevin and Nico welcomed their son, Kenzo Cash Hart, in November of 2017. Their daughter, Kaori Mai Hart, was born in September of 2020. As well as being a busy family man, Hart also makes time to play poker at various tournaments. He has been involved in dozens of endorsement deals with huge brands like eBay, Hyundai, and Samsung, and is reported to have made hundreds of millions of dollars from these partnerships. He does use some of his wealth to give back and even donated $250,000 to the Philadelphia school system to purchase new computers. Like many celebrities, Kevin Hart has dabbled in other industries. In 2022, he launched a fast food chain restaurant specializing in vegan food in several locations across California. Kevin Hart is one of the busiest guys in show business. He's friends with the mega famous and has the largest and fastest growing comedy empire on the planet. He looks like he isn't content to be one of the biggest stars of today. He seems set on taking over the world, one laugh at a time. What did you think about this look at Kevin Hart's life behind the camera? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure you're subscribed to the channel because the next Life Behind the Camera is coming out soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.